From Drop Biscuit Studios and the people who brought you Wondery's Inside Jaws, Inside The Exorcist, and Inside Psycho comes You Talking to Me? Bite-sized Hollywood history with plenty of bite.
The birth of James Bond. Shaken, not stirred. This is You Talking to Me? I'm Mark Ramsey. There are now 27 James Bond films. The series has been part of our lives for all of our lives. So it's natural to imagine that it was always meant to be, right? That Bond was an unstoppable and inevitable force of nature. Au contraire. In fact, the inspiration for Bond owes less to destiny and more to hunger. See, the author of the James Bond novels, Ian Fleming, came into this world a son of privilege. His dad was a member of Parliament. His older brother was an Oxford grad and an explorer. Fleming attended a Royal Military College but was forced to leave prematurely thanks to a nasty case of gonorrhea from a prostitute. Hey, that never happened to James Bond. After finishing university, he worked as a reporter, a banker, and a stockbroker. Then in 1939, Fleming joined the Naval Intelligence Division, where he oversaw clandestine sabotage operations against Nazi Germany. All that may sound exciting, but this was as far from a specially outfitted Aston Martin DB5 as you can get. It was, in fact, a desk job. According to Fleming biographer Andrew Lysette, he saw all these secret agents arriving from interesting assignments, and he wished he could have been more like them. He was stuck in an office for most of the war, so he started thinking about writing what he told a colleague was the spy novel to beat all spy novels. Fleming was proud to invest in Bond all the attributes he wished he had, along with many of the vices he actually did have. The wandering eye, the fondness for alcohol, and a thrilling game of chance. All that was pure Ian Fleming. But it would take James Bond to make it all cool. Even such luminaries as John F. Kennedy, who favored nonfiction, would describe himself as a Bond fan. Of course. What finally forced Fleming to pick up that pen was necessity. His fiancée Anne was pregnant, and Fleming knew that he needed money to support his family. So, in 1952, at Goldeneye, his vacation home in Jamaica, he began writing that spy novel to beat all spy novels. It would be titled Casino Royale. He finished it in a blistering period of only 2 months. Note to authors, never tell a potential publisher that your masterwork took you only 2 months to write. The manuscript landed in the lap of one who was monumentally unimpressed with the contents. Still, his company had published travel books written by Fleming's brother, so, as a favor, Casino Royale dropped. And while in the UK the initial print run of less than 5,000 copies sold out, in the colonies the project was met with a monumental meh. After several US publishers rejected the book, Macmillan finally said, "Oh, why not?" and published it in the US. The response of the book-buying American public could best be described as benign neglect. But Fleming would not be discouraged. He wrote a Bond book a year through the 1950s and early 60s, each novel built on the community of fans created by the previous novels. Live and Let Die, Diamonds Are Forever, Moonraker, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, Goldfinger, they kept coming every year. Oh, and Fleming was unafraid to name his villains after real-life characters, a practice that occasionally got him into hot water. For example, the evil Goldfinger was named after Hungarian architect Erno Goldfinger, a humorless man who pioneered many of the bland high-rises that became notable examples of what is called brutalist architecture. So Goldfinger was prone to rages, and rage he did, when he learned that Bond's nemesis would be his namesake. He threatened to sue, until Fleming countered that he would rename the character Gold Prick. Are you listening, Austin Powers? Anyway, no lawsuit, but Goldfinger did get his costs repaid, and 6 free copies of the book. Fleming was ahead of his time by envisioning his work on screens in an era when most authors just hoped for more opportunities to publish books. In 1954, his love of screens got off to a rocky start. CBS produced an hour-long version of Casino Royale featuring Peter Lorre as the villain. Well, Peter was killed in the show, but it was a live broadcast, and someone in the control room was not paying attention because the entire broadcast audience got to see Peter die and then smoothly get up and stroll away to his dressing room. Shades of Michael Myers, right? Still, the books just weren't successful enough, certainly not the hits they would become later. Fleming knew that the big prize was in selling the rights to Hollywood and creating an ongoing franchise. Boy, was he right. By the time the fourth Bond movie, Thunderball, was released, Fleming's novels had sold 27 million copies in 18 languages. Tragically, he would live to see only a bit of that success. His health had been failing for many years when he succumbed to a heart attack in 1961. He was only 56. Today, we celebrate James Bond's 60th anniversary. The 27-film franchise has earned $7 billion in worldwide box office. That makes the Bond franchise the third most profitable in history, right behind Marvel and Star Wars. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening right now, and give us a 5-star rating, and please tell your friends. That's You Talking to Me. I'm Mark Ramsey.